Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to our webinar dedicated to one of the most interesting topics in English language, which is gerunds and infinitives. I know that you all hate them, honestly, and they are not your real friends, but rather frenemies, which is friend but enemy at the same time. Today, we will try to practice a little bit more. We will try to find a little bit of algorithms in gerunds and infinitives, because I know that many students have the feeling that there are only long lists of verbs followed by gerund and long lists of verbs followed by infinitive that need to be learned by heart. It is not exactly true, though you need a lot of memory and a lot of practice. That is why now you will need to prepare your pens and pencils and the paper to make some notes and to work together with us. If you are watching us in the recorded version, please stop here, prepare your writing materials and get back to us. My beautiful assistant Nadia will help me today. She will share a presentation and she will also be interviewed by me. Let's get started. So, gerunds and infinitives, they are our frenemies or pet hates. Let's find out a little bit more about them. First of all, let's have a look at a little bit of sentences, a little bit of examples. We know that now it's the time to make different New Year resolutions. It's a beautiful time of hopes, promises to yourself, and to each other, to your nearest and dearest. And we know that around 45% of us make New Year resolutions. For example, smoking problems, saving money, and getting fit are some of them. Others include eating healthier food and drinking less alcohol. But most people give up trying because they lack willpower. Scientists claim that around 71% of us hate keeping promises and avoid creating new, healthier habits by making an excuse. I will do it next year. I hope you're not one of those people. And if we looked attentively at those sentences and this little article, we managed to identify that gerunds are words that are formed with verbs but act as nouns. You can spot them very easily in a text. To find gerunds in sentences, you just need to look for a verb plus ing ending that is used as a noun. For example, let's go dancing to the club tonight. Shopping is one of the funniest but exhausting activities. I don't mind spending a quiet weekend at home. I usually avoid doing the dishes. It's really boring. And I look forward to visiting my parents. Yes, it's the time of different visits and getting together with your families, guys. So, when do we use gerund? Normally, as a subject of the sentence. For example, smoking problems, saving money, getting fit are some of our New Year resolutions. After prepositions. For example, most people give up trying because they lack willpower. Expressions with go. For example, let's go dancing to the club tonight. And of course, after certain verbs. And those certain verbs usually scare us. Well, guys, today we will try to work with some of them and we will try to develop a small algorithm. Talking about gerunds, those spatial verbs are commonly the verbs of like, dislike. You will find a lot of such verbs. For example, the verbs such as enjoy, adore, or love. I enjoyed living, I adore lazing in the sun, and so on. Also, fancy or feel like, which is also the verb of like. I fancy seeing a film tonight. I feel like watching a good movie. Discuss. Normally, when you discuss, it's also you discuss different activities, your different preferences. We discussed going on holiday together. Like or dislike, as such, the verbs themselves. I dislike waiting for buses. Mind, which means you don't really like, you try to avoid. I don't mind coming early. You like it. It means it's not a problem for you. Avoid. In this case, it's a problem for you. She avoided talking to her boss. It was a problem for her. And verbs such as hate and a spatial expression can't stand, which means you don't like something. I hate eating vegetables. We move on. Some other interesting verbs are the following. Normally, if you look at them, you understand that we're talking about something, some activity or a subject. You start, begin, or finish something, an activity. We finished preparing for the meeting. We started preparing for the meeting. Suggest, you normally suggest an activity. He suggested staying, or they recommended meeting earlier. Keep or continue. To continue, normally some activity. We kept working. We continued talking about gerunds and infinitives. Admit or deny. You normally admit or deny a certain action, activity. He denied stealing money from the company, or he admitted stealing money from the company. Consider. Normally consider some activities, some changes. I don't consider moving to another country. Or imagine. You imagine, and there is usually some sort of a picture or an activity, something in your head. Can you imagine not working and relaxing all the time?
Definitely, I can.
Me too. I can definitely do that. I actually always imagine not working and relaxing. Some spatial expressions, guys, that you need to remember. Look forward to meeting my parents. Can't stand cleaning. I can't help buying new stuff, which means you cannot stop. You are helpless in front of a new dress or some object. To be worth doing something. For example, this material is worth learning. The Star Wars is worth seeing. Some book is worth reading. And there is no use talking about something. There is no use talking to some person. Let's practice. I will project you a little bit of sentences, and guess what you need to do? Of course, you need to use the correct form of the verb, and I believe you suspect what the correct form is. But I insist that you take your paper, your pen, and you write down the forms. The more you practice, the more you remember. Let's get started. Okay, guys, I hope it was a useful training. Anyway, I repeat, I always recommend writing down the combinations of a verb and a gerund or a verb and infinitive together and noticing them wherever you go. This way, you remember the combinations better and you don't have this headache of memorizing long lists of verbs followed by gerund or followed by infinitive. Let's move on. Now we need to make a list of something, and I mean something that you enjoy, you can't stand, you can't help, you adore, you always avoid, you can't imagine, you don't mind, you have started recently, you consider in the nearest future, you invest your time and money in, there is no use talking about, you feel like doing right now, you will continue doing, and you look forward to doing. Think about your ideas. Me too. I have thought about it. It was a difficult task for me because we never reflect about our life. We never think that much about our life expectations, likes and dislikes. We just go to work, commute, eat, sleep. But it's necessary to think about important things, and I will share my findings with you. I will also ask a couple of questions from Nadia. She will give me some answers. So, I enjoy dancing, and you, Nadia, is there something that you enjoy doing?
Definitely, I enjoy reading.
And you enjoy reading. That is so nice. I can't stand doing the dishes. What is your pet hate?
I can't stand being called to in the early morning.
Yes, exactly. Being cold and living in cold conditions in general, that is incredible, incredibly bad. Hmm? I can't help laughing when I watch Friends.
I can't help eating chocolate every day.
Yes, I agree with you. I adore taking long walks.
I have no idea. I adore spending time with my daughter.
Mm-hmm, good. I always avoid talking to aggressive people.
You're asking me what I avoid.
Yes, what do you avoid doing? Is there something that you
I
avoid doing?
I always avoid dusting in my flat.
Dusting in your flat,
I
yes.
always hope somebody else will do it.
You can have it done
I can
if you
have it
pay
done.
for the service.
Yes.
I can't imagine staying up all night. I don't believe I'm old, but I just don't like staying up all night. And you? Is there something you can't imagine or you imagine?
I can't imagine not being able to stay up all night.
Life would be
It's too depressing.
It's too depressing to not be able to stay up all
Yeah.
night. Good. I don't mind spending a quiet weekend or several quiet weekends at home. And you?
I don't mind spending a lot of quiet weekends at home.
Yes. And recently I have started learning a new language. What about you?
Recently, I have started trying to wake up earlier than I usually do.
That's a very nice beginning. We continue, guys, a little bit more. I consider changing my apartment. I invest my time and money in decorating my place. There is no use talking about politics and politicians. I feel like having a nice cup of coffee right now. What about you, Nadia?
I feel like eating actually.
You feel like eating, actually, and sleeping.
Well, that goes without saying.
I believe I will continue teaching for the
I hope you
nearest.
will continue teaching.
I look forward to going on holiday. What about you? Your
I look forward to having fun at our party.
yes, actually, yes. Now it's party time. So me too. I look forward to having fun at our party. I hope you too, guys, you managed to reflect a little bit on your life and your desires. And we move on. Good. Let's continue talking about different resolutions, guys. A new year is when we make plans to change our life over the next 12 months. People tend to make the same resolutions even though they cannot keep them. Most of our promises to quit, to start, or change things are usually broken by January the 31st. Infinitive. Why do we need it? I hope you noticed a lot of infinitives on my previous slide. I will show it back to you. So, we need the infinitive for a reason. The first one, of course, to express purpose. We make plans. Why? To change our life. After most adjectives, he is too old to play this game. After direct object, he proposed me to accept a new position. He asked me to do something, and so on, guys. And of course, after certain verbs. Here you need a little bit more effort, guys, because yes, you're right, certain verbs are those long lists that you hate. But again, now we will try to work only with a small portion of them, and we will try to see the algorithm. Maybe there is a certain logics inside. So the most commonly used are verbs of different future plans, such as to agree to do something or to refuse to do something. It's a sort of plan, like he refused to go on a business trip or he agreed to give a presentation. To ask. I asked to leave early, or I asked him to leave early. Here you have asterisk because this verb can also take a direct object. Decide. We decided to go out for dinner. Also help. He helped to clean the kitchen, or he helped me to clean the kitchen. A direct object. Plan. He plans to buy a new flat next year. Or hope. I hope to pass the exam. Is there anything you hope to do?
Me? I hope to. Oh, I hope to go to the ballet this weekend.
Oh, yes, to a performance.
Yeah.
You hope to see a nice performance.
Yeah.
Ballet. A very cultural weekend.
Well, first partying, then ballet.
Okay. Also, guys, a little bit more words to some extent related to our future plans. For example, learn. They are learning to sing. You always learn something in a hope of having a better life or doing something else. Want. I want to come to the party. It can also take a direct object. I want him to come to the party. Would like. I would like to see her tonight. Promise. We promised not to be late.
To do our homework.
We promised to do our homework exactly. Expect. This winter is expected to be warm and rainy. My friend expects to have a baby. And choose. I have chosen to go to the Carpathians this year. Now, a little bit of spatial expressions. Please remember, can't afford to buy something. It means there is not enough money. To be allowed to go out, to be allowed to have permission. To be able to do something, for For example, to be able to sing. I used to climb the trees. Used to is the structure that requires an infinitive. So as you can see, infinitives are everywhere. And you know them, you remember them. Let's practice now. I will show you a little bit of sentences and your job is, yes, to use the correct form of the verb. And I know that you know the correct form of the verb here. Let's begin. Okay, guys, I'm back. I hope you managed to write down all the combinations correctly. And yes, in all the cases here, we need an infinitive form. I know it's difficult to remember all the rules, but if you practice hard enough, the result comes. And also, guys, we need to remember about bare infinitive or infinitive without to. And you all remember the rules. We use it after modal verbs, after let, make, and sometimes help. Help is the verb that you will normally find with a normal infinitive, help to do something, but in some cases without particle to as a bare infinitive, because now the rule is changing and the verb help is moving slowly to this category of verbs followed by bare infinitive. But right now, you just concentrate on let and make, and don't be nervous, don't be afraid if you see help with to or without to. It's normal. So let's choose the correct option now, guys. Her parents made her to stay or stay. His parents let him to go or go. They wouldn't let me to sit or sit. My boss made me to work or work. Here the task starts being a little bit more complicated and you need more attention. If you want to arrive before it's dark, you should to leave now. And the final one. Let's check. Yes, you're right. Her parents made her stay at home. His parents let him go. They wouldn't let me sit in the driving seat. My boss made me work tonight. If you want to arrive before it's dark, you should leave now. May I use your phone? And now you try to choose the correct option without my command. And now I'm back, guys. I hope the presentation was useful for you and you managed to work and do a little bit of exercises. I kindly ask you, when you learn gerunds and infinitives, don't rely only on lists of verbs. Reading a lot and listening to different recordings can help you. Even songs can help you, because gerunds and infinitives, they are everywhere. Have a nice evening, and I wish you nice holidays. See you soon.